Good evening, dear travelers, to the threshold between the ordinary and the uncanny. Tonight, I invite you into quiet suburban high school, where brilliance gleams like metal in the dark, and where perfection can be more dangerous than any failing grade. This is a story of the honor student. In room 213, Miss Kuroda's literature class passed with the usual chatter, frustrations about pop quizzes, gossip about weekend parties, sighs over overdue essays. But when the glossy new nameplate appeared on the front desk, Ayumi Tachibana, everything shifted. She sat ramrod straight, head pinned back with surgical precision, pen poised above her notebook, as though she might catch the words themselves as they fell from the teacher's lips. At the first week, Ayumi had 100 on every quiz, every paper annotated with such fervent insight. Her classmates joked she must sleep with the novels under her pillow. She never missed an assignment. She never needed to ask a question. She simply existed, a walking testament to flawless execution. At lunchtime, she ate lunch alone, nibbling her bento in absolute silence. Students whispered that her eyes glowed faintly when she read, as though the words shivered under her gaze. One rainy Tuesday, Miss Kuroda assigned a research project on local legends, a chance to delve into ghost stories or urban myths. The class cheered at the break from Shakespeare, except for Ayumi, who tapped her pen and stared at the ceiling, lost in thought. 2 days later, she handed in her paper, 20 meticulously referenced pages on the founding of the town's abandoned manor, complete with photographs she'd taken in the moonlight. The margin notes praised her clarity and innovation. She received the only extra credit ever awarded in room 213. That night, however, a low rumble of thunder rattled the windows of the old mansion. Ayumi crept through overgrown hedges beneath a fractured moon. Very camera in hand, she recorded every silent hallway, every peeling mural, every fissure in the marble floors that swallowed echoes. She found a sealed door in the basement, its iron hinges corroded, and slipped inside where the air tasted of damp earth and decay. In the dim torchlight, walls were lined with names etched, clawed, gouged into stone. Some were fresh, raw scars no older than a week. Others webbed with moss, centuries old. At the center of the chamber stood a shallow pool of water, black and still, drawn by a force she neither welcomed nor understood. Ayumi knelt at its edge and peered into the ink-dark reflection. Flickers of movement danced just beneath the surface, shapes her mind strained to define. When she emerged before dawn, her shirt was damp, her hands smeared with mud and grit, but her eyes burned with triumph. She tucked her camera away and returned to school, handing in a revised paper, now 30 pages, a masterwork of scholarship and personal discovery. Miss Kuroda handed it back with a stunned smile and pinned it to the classroom bulletin board above the motto, "Knowledge is power." By week's end, the students had vanished. Their empty desks sat like open graves. The principal spoke quietly about family emergencies and disciplinary actions. Miss Kuroda mopped her brow and told the class not to worry. Ayumi, meanwhile, sat at the front, untouched by panic, her gaze calm as a steel palm. The final exam arrived like a clap of thunder. The principal announced an open book test. Anyone struggling could observe Ayumi's work, copy her notes, glean a scrap of her brilliance. Desperate hands reached towards her desk. She slid a single sheet of paper across the aisle. On it, a neat harvest of bullet points, definitions, quoted passages. 2 hours passed in fevered silence. When the bell rang, students handed in the papers on pencils. Miss Kuroda collected them, but one exam was missing. A boy at the back row, pale and trembling, looked around in panic. "He was here," he whispered. "I left it on her desk." The classroom fell silent. Ayumi stood, gathering her books. The lights flickered once, and in that mid-blink instant, the boy's desk was empty, his chair tilted against the wall, his uniform gone, as though he had dissolved into thin air. Later, as dusk bled into night, the principal locked the school gates, telling cleaners to finish early. Miss Kuroda stared at Ayumi's empty seat. "Tomorrow," she said softly. "Tomorrow we'll call her parents." But there was no record of Ayumi's family on file. No guardians, no emergency contact, not even a birth certificate. Her place remained vacant, a perfect score erased by a perfect disappearance. And so the honor roll stands incomplete. 3 names scratched into stone in the manor's basement, each date matching the vanished student's final test. If you wander through that old building by moonlight, you might glimpse a pale figure hunched over a notebook. There are some pen moving silently across blank pages. Some says that she's still chasing perfection, gathering missing names to fill her own ledger. Her great unreadable scribbles in a language no one alive can understand. Tonight, when you lie awake, think of Ayumi Tachibana and the price of flawless achievement. Excellence, after all, can demand a cost higher than any letter grade, and true perfection may flourish only in the soil of unspeakable sacrifice. Good night, and beware the honor student who never misses a mark.